Join me, ladies. Let's dance.
Welcome to Read My Lips Radio, a lively hour of unscripted conversations with savvy creatives. Producer and host, akaRadioRed, asks novelists, artists, photographers, designers, comedians, actors, musicians, composers, screenwriters, directors, and technology innovators about their creative passion, inspirational muses, and how they create. Ooh, how those lips can talk. Now, here's akaRadioRed.
To the wonderful voice who always introduces me so well. Let me lower that music, and there we go. I'm Radio Red here in the house on Read My Lips. I used to call it Read My Lips, and now I call it just Cool Conversations with Creatives, because that's what we have. I have three wonderful creatives with me today, and we're calling this episode The Pursuits of Creativity. Now, I want to warn at least two of my guests that I already did a show recently on the travels of creativity. So Marisha, you know who you are, at least, and maybe Melanie too. And I couldn't use it again a couple weeks later, so I had to come up with another word. So I figured The Pursuit. So I have to come up, it's like hundreds of shows, and I got to keep coming up with nouns for that. So I want to welcome all of you. I'm delighted to have you here. And Deborah is back. Deborah was on a couple weeks ago, and Marisha was supposed to, and she had a power outage and couldn't, so she's here. And Melanie was on my other show. Somebody named Bonnie D has a show called Technology Revolution, The Future of Now, and Melanie was on that show. So it's kind of one happy family here. So I'd like to open by a couple of things. Ladies, I want you to make the shape of the letter L with whichever hand is your favorite hand. And on the count of three, try to do it exactly as I say it. Same speed. We're going to say hello, L, 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 just like that. 1, 2, 3. Hello, L, L, L.
Oh.
Ladies, you could do much better than that. Nobody could hear you. Come on. 1, 2, 3. Let's do it again. Hello, L, L, L. Faster. 1, 2, 3. Hello, L,
L,
L, L.
L.
Jordan, put them in for a solid third place. We usually a little more in sync. But LLL is lovely, lanky Laura Legs, our most loyal listener. She hasn't been feeling well. She's under the weather, sinus problems, and it's raining in New York and all that. So she'll listen on demand. But we always do a shout out. And normally, if she was feeling well at 6:03 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm on Eastern Time here in Tennessee, she'd be writing me a little book report, Marisha and Melanie and Deborah, telling me what each of you said on the show and how much she loved the show. So she'll probably do that when she's feeling better and she knows how to find us on demand. So there you go. Today is, oh my goodness, is it really the first Monday in May? And I just realized today, if you saw my LinkedIn post or my Insta post or my Facebook post, you saw that Monday has the letters of the month of May, which I didn't realize till I was trying to look for M from Monday and AY from day. So there we go. It's self-contained. It's the 5th. That means it's the 125th day of the Gregorian calendar 2025. And I just did another show a few hours ago where I looked up the contributions to our culture from the ancient Romans. And Julian had a calendar, and he had this, he skipped 13 days in October, Melanie and Deborah and Marisha, and they just disappeared. You had a birthday in the middle of October. You didn't get to celebrate it maybe once every 4th year, 24th year, I don't know. So Gregorian, Pope Gregory XIII came along and he said, I can fix that. And he went ahead and added a leap year every 4th year with one day. And that's how everybody in October, including me, gets to have a birthday. There you go. So 240 days are left. We get closer to the end of the year. I'll tell you to go buy your champagne or your bubbly, whatever you're having, because they're going to sell out. New Year's a big deal. It's the 18th Monday. Nobody cares about that except me. So I'd like to read my opening for all of you. And here we go. Yes, this is smiles all the way here. Melanie was on a show that was a little more serious, right, Melanie? A couple of weeks ago, the other show. But we're just smiling all the way. So here we go. And a shout out also to Jordan Henson, who was our engineer today. Jordan, I still think you and I need to do a show together because you have this fabulous voice. So we'll talk about that later. So here we go. When I call your name, just say hello and just wave. Don't say anything. And Marisha, I'm going to let you pronounce your last name again when we get closer because I've got it here. I spelled it somewhere and now I can't find. Oh, here it is. Wojciechowska. I can say that. Okay, I've got that. I'm putting that in your. I'm not usually this chatty before I start. Okay, let's do this now. Welcome to Cool Conversations with Creatives, where bold voices ignite with vibrant ideas and visionary insight. akaRadioRed on her Scarlett mic hosts this show. She adds the spark to our live streaming glow. I hope I'm going for the right reasons. We don't just talk, we sparkle and we shine with passion and purpose in rhythm and in rhyme. Today we explore, oh, Marisha loves this. Today we explore the pursuits of creativity bold as my guest creatives let their stories unfold. Dr. Melanie Peacock is first. With wisdom in HR, Melanie, wave hello. With wisdom in HR and leadership might, Melanie conveys hope for a future that's bright. An author, a professor with honors galore, she has reshaped how organizations can soar. From fiction to textbooks, her knowledge runs deep with impact that inspires and dreams that leap. Melanie leads with heart and clears new space for diverse voices to each find their rightful place. Melanie, I hope you like that.
Beautiful. Thank you, Red.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Now we have the lady whose name I have to learn to pronounce, Marisha Wojciechowska. I got it. From the UN's halls to Bangkok skies, Marisha sees the world with wide open eyes. Her globetrotter books help kids explore their planet, their beings, and so much more. With climate and culture, she blends each theme, empowering children to think and to dream. Her message is clear, her stories are profound, helping empathy and wonder become the world all around.
Magnificent. Wow, Red, I love it.
I'm glad. You're
Thank
welcome. And Deborah is back, and Deborah had to do a new one for you. So here we go. A ray of light with a positive tone. Deborah helps others find the joy on their own. From textiles to pharma, she's walked many ways. Now she sparks brighter, suck-less days. She'll tell us about that. Her daily decisions brings habits to light with creativity guiding each mindset right. Deborah's proof that a pivot can lead to delight and sunshine returns after even the darkest night. Deborah, I hope you like that.
Oh, it is just a warm hug.
There you go. So I'll finish now. So gather round where the cool vibes sway. Everybody sway with me as we dive deep into creativity today. I have to stay steady so I can read this. akaRadioRed's Roundtable lights the way. We hope to inspire you to live large, love life, and play. I hope everybody enjoyed that. What do we think? Do we get a thumbs up? Okay. My assistant, my partner in crime, is named Sylvie. She's French, and she's my virtual assistant. And I put all of your bios into one document and sent them to her. And I said, please write me an 8-line rhyming version of these ladies' lives that they told me about so that I can read them on air. Then I went back and I looked at the rhymes. I looked at the phrasing. I went back to your bios. I double checked and made sure we hit all the hot spots, all the high points. And I did a couple of changes here and there. Sometimes I'll go back and say, Sylvie, you could do a little better on Marisha's. You know, you missed a little things. Or sometimes I say, that's great. And then we speak in French. So I'm very happy with Sylvie. So I'm glad you liked it. So ladies, what I'd like to do now is go around the table and have you fill in just for 2 or 3 minutes each, whatever blanks or dashes. Melanie has a dog there named Dash. Whatever the dashes are, because in 8 lines, Melanie, I couldn't possibly do justice to your wonderful life. So Melanie, I'm putting you on speaker view. Would you please do us the honor of filling in a few blanks for us? And welcome, Melanie.
Thank you. Well, a blank stare, you know. Well, I've climbed many stairs in my life, that's for sure. We'll use stare in another way. So I have had a full and adventurous and blessed life, and I'm continuing to live the dream and have lots more to do, as any creative would. I feel that there's so much more still to create. I have had the thrill and honor of working in academia for over 30 years, and I recently retired from that role. But to be able to be creative in how you approach education and how you teach other people and create the future for our amazing human resource management profession has been a thrill, a privilege, and an honor. I love to travel. My husband and I are known to go to Vegas at least 3 times a year. When I'm not doing that, I'm volunteering on different boards and with different initiatives, because I think when we give back, it helps other people create, but it also enables and sparks our creativity, that synergy. Those of you playing bingo at home, yes, I said the word synergy already. You can clock it how many minutes into the show when the word synergy came up. But it's just, it does that. It creates that excellence and that passion and that drive. I'm also a proud mother to 3 kidults who are amazing human beings. I feel so blessed and privileged. One of my favorite sayings is that for me, God, but whoever your higher power is, God sends you your children to teach you something. And I say, I must be very ignorant because boy, did my children never teach me so many things and continue to teach me. And boy, I feel so blessed and honored to be their mother. Yes, I have a wonderful husband. And of course, yes, a dog named Dash, who is a beagalier. Those of you listening at home can look that up later. It's a real dog breed. Talk about creative. So there you go.
Thank you. I want you to talk for just another minute, Melanie, about your book, HR Can Be Murder. I started reading it and it's very interesting. What came to your mind after years in HR? What came to your mind that you could write a thriller about the industry you're part of? Just tell us.
Well, Bonnie, it really started not as an HR text. What happened was I realized, and we can talk later about that and delve into it more, but I realized I had put aside a lifelong passion and dream to write a murder mystery. And so then when I started thinking about that and deciding how would I do this and how would the characters evolve and what would be the setting and it naturally flowed from me that the protagonist would be a young woman starting her career in human resource management. And then when that happened, the rest just came spilling forward. And so many human resource management themes started to flow through the book. So while it is a cozy murder mystery, people that have read it have said, wow, I learned so much about the HR profession by reading the book and its strategic importance and its complexity. And I talk on so many different themes and they loved it. And that was one of my intentions
Hmm.
purposefully when I started to delve into it,
Thank
is
you.
in lieu of an HR textbook. And yes, Bob, aka Radio Red has mentioned that I've written many of those.
Yes.
Those of you having insomnia, please feel free to pick up a copy of my textbooks.
Thank you
But
very much, Melanie.
there you
Appreciate
go.
that. I'm very intrigued, and I'm going to finish your book. Thank you for sending it to me. Let's go around the table to Marisha. Marisha, you were supposed to be on a couple months ago, and nature intervened. Mama said no power and no connection, and here you are. And I said we got to get you back on the show. So, Marisha, I'm putting you on speaker view. Would you please fill in a few of the blanks for us and welcome?
Hi, Red. It's such an honor to be here. Thank you. And thank you for for having the patience and the perseverance to get me back on. I'm sitting in Bangkok, Thailand right now. It's 4 in the morning. And so I am a globetrotter. I've worked and lived in abroad for 25 some years. I'm a consultant in international water policy. I work with governments, the United Nations, different organizations on water policy issues. And as a proud mother of a now 21-year-old whom I wanted to understand the world, deepen his knowledge of the world, feel comfortable in the world, because I'm convinced that's how to build his future, I started writing the Globetrotter series, which is a series of activity books on different cities around the world, and the idea really is to spark curiosity, and to stimulate wonder about the world, and so it's been a passion to create this amazing series, and then I went on, and because I'm fascinated by how the world works and have this mission of wanting to spark wonder and understanding for children. Another important component of a child, I think, for them to learn about is how their bodies work. And especially during COVID, of course, travel travel was not on the map during the COVID years. So I then took a trip inside the body. And so I came up with this journey within book, on how your cells work, how they communicate, they talk to each other, they regenerate. And how to keep your cells healthy through hydration, nutrition, movement. Even I have a page on the power of the mind, and the incidence of that for health. So those are the creations that I've been passionate about and that I've wanted
Thank
to
you.
share.
Marisha, what is the age group of your target audience for these
It's
Globetrotter books? Is it
so
different?
it's 6 to 12, and then the book on the cells is 8 to 12. It's a little bit more
And isn't
difficult
there a
content in my
story
life.
about something about the Paris airport in your book? What's that? Come on, just share that one. I know the ladies
Yeah,
want to hear.
so in 2022, just as airports were reopening and people were hopping back on planes, Air France invited me to do special editions of my Paris and New York title, and invited me for exclusive book signings at their VIP lounges in both airports in Paris. So that was amazing, just extraordinary experience.
You must have an amazing PR person, or you must do an awful lot of outreach. How did you get in front of Orly and the other airport? How
Yeah,
did they
and
know? Because there's a million books out there, and I know yours is special, but how do you get in front of those people? Just you want to give anybody a tip on PR and getting the word out,
you
Marisha?
know, I was super lucky because I had a friend whom I had met. You know, I've lived in Tokyo and New York and Bangkok and Paris, in Canada and Montreal, and through all of these travels, you meet a lot of people, right? And you build
Hmm.
bridges. And so one of these wonderful people whom I knew was at Air France and got me a meeting exactly with the person who was in charge of partnerships for kids content at Air France. And I met with them one day as I was flying into Charles de Gaulle, and we met, and instantly they clicked. We clicked. They loved the books. They loved the concept, and invited me to this partnership, to build this partnership with them, which
Lovely.
was
It,
extraordinary.
it's a great story. I wanted to share that on the show. I remember that
Thank
from your
you.
bio. Thank you. That's wonderful about it's a noisy world out there. And how do you get noticed above the noise, or at least in the noise, and then going above the noise? And it's who you know and how you treat people, right? And it's about relationships and about being somebody people want to talk to and want to be nice with. There you go. So there you go. Thank you very much. And I'm not going to pronounce your last name again. You're just going to be Marisha to me. Deborah Mallow is back. Okay, lady, put your sunshine on your head if you want
I'll do
to.
that for
Give
you.
us your
Only for you.
Give us your
Yes,
3 minutes of
Rachel.
fill in the bio. Tell it in case somebody happened to have the nerve to miss the first time you're on the show, Deborah. That would be a real Shonda. You know what that means.
I
So I
do.
think
I
so.
do.
So please tell Ed, talk a little bit more into your microphone. We're having a little trouble
I
hearing.
will.
There you go. Go ahead,
Hello,
Deborah.
everyone. Give yourself a big hug because
Hug,
that's what I'm about. We have to
hug.
appreciate each other. So, I grew up in Manhattan. I still live here. And to me, it's home where the heart is. And I love the energy. And I am so creative. That's why you, Radio Red, resonate with me because I grew up with two parents that were fashion designers. Not a household name, but they definitely had creativity. And so we would visit museums and just travel. And I just had a really nice, warm childhood. Of course, everyone has stress, but I got to explore a lot my creativity. So I studied textile design, and I did that for a very long time. And I licensed my designs to many big companies in home furnishings and gifts, and I loved it. But like everything else, I'm the type of person I like to do different things and I like to try hard things. So I took some time off, had my fabulous son, and then I decided, well, I'm not going to do design. People told me I have such a fun personality, I should be a farmer rep. So why not? Let's be a farmer rep. And I talked my way into a job at J&J in dermatology, and I did really well. And I was there a long time. But because sometimes perfection and working yourself to the bone burns you out, I'm sure everyone here can relate and the audience can relate. I got a
Yep.
little burnt out. And that's when I started to write my personal guidebook, which wasn't called at that time 6 Steps to Fewer Days That Suck, but it was called the Daily Decisions. And I changed my life. I got rid of my negative. I don't worry anymore. I just enjoy my life. And with that, I decided, you know what? I gave pharma a good run. And now I'm going to help other people because I'm all about doing that and helping others have fewer days that suck and find their Sunshine.
I just want to put a word over your head. Cheerleader, life cheerleader. There you go, Deborah. It's always fun having you on the show. Thank you. I love that. Does that come in different sizes? Is it like the Mickey Mouse ears? You put it on and it just molds to your head with that. It's like a headband, right?
It's called eBay, and I actually got it for free because they didn't send the tutu. Can you imagine me wearing a tutu? But I am this big,
I'm
so
trying not to. Okay. No,
right,
and I'm sorry.
exactly.
I know I couldn't imagine me, so that would be terrible. So anyway, thank you very much. I love it when you always bring the sunshine. Ladies, thank you for the bios. You're all fascinating and you're all very beautiful. So let's go to the part of the show where I've asked each of you to please send me a quote from a fictional character in a movie or a TV show or a song lyric. I've done a little research. I'll try not to read too much because I love doing my research on the quotes. I spend a lot of time looking them up and getting the clips and what second or what minute, where was it? So let's start with Melanie. Melanie has picked a beautiful quote from a very serious but very uplifting movie. It was a 1965 musical drama film called The Sound of Music. And this is a quote from Maria, played by Julie Andrews, who has since lost her ability to sing, I know, in the last few years. But The Sound of Music, produced and directed by Robert Wise from a screenplay written by Ernest Lehman. It's an adaptation of a 1959 stage musical composed by Richard Rodgers with lyrics by Oscar Hammerstein. Oh, my goodness gracious, based on a memoir, the story of the Trapp family singers by a real person named Maria von Trapp. It's set in Salzburg, Austria. Very interesting story. And I'll read you just a little background on this, Melanie. It became the #1 box office film after 4 weeks. It was the highest grossing film of 1965. Did you know that? By November of that year, it was the highest grossing film of all time, and it outpaced Gone with the Wind. That's a shocker. I didn't know that for 5 years. It broke box office records in 29 countries, and the theatrical release lasted 4.5 years, 2 re-releases, and it only sold 283 million admissions. That's tickets worldwide, and it grossed $286 million worldwide. That's probably a heck of a lot of money for 1965. So here's the quote you have picked. I can't seem to stop singing wherever I am. And what's worse, I can't seem to stop saying things, anything and everything I think and feel. Okay, Melanie, where'd you find this? It's been gone a long time. Go ahead.
Well, Radio Red, anyone that knows me knows that The Sound of Music is my favorite movie. You know, if you had trivia night with your friends and who knew you best, this would be an easy one to answer. I have seen the full movie well over 20 times. I stopped counting after 21 times. I can sing the lyrics. I can say the lines. I think life should be set to music. I think we should sing sometimes. My family might disagree. That's a big running joke in our house. Mom, no one's making you sing. But anyway, so the quote was very easy for me because it's in a scene where Maria comes to, and she's talking to the mother and saying, she's late for mass, and she's explaining that she got carried away in the mountains and she heard the music and she's just so swept up in all the beauty and the singing. And in the opening scene, she's singing "The Hills Are Alive" with The Sound of Music. So why did that resonate with me? Well, I think sometimes we're almost apologetic for our creativity. It's not something that we're readily taught to embrace or encouraged to embrace. You know, I talked to somebody once and he said, "Oh, I'm an engineer. They've sucked all the creativity out of me." And I think a lot of us think that way, you know, behave a certain way. Look, I'm all for behavioral norms and cultural standards and, of course, get along to get along. But isn't it lovely that we're all different? And here I am with my amazing co-panelists, and I read their impressive bios. And Radio Red, the things you've taught so many of us, including me, and the inspiration. So in essence, what that quote does for me is it reminds us, yeah, let's stop. Let's not want to stop singing, and let's embrace that creativity and that joy and that power. And remember that sometimes we are asked to suppress it, and be conscious of that and think we shouldn't. At certain times, it's wonderful to express it and to help other people express theirs as well.
What a lovely sentiment. Thank you very much. I was forced to get up in front of about 80 people yesterday. Oh my, did I ever do that before? I don't know. I've only talked to millions of people all around the world and introduced myself in a local community potluck we were having. And I had to be very careful about what I said because most of the people here are retired and they're talking about their golf and their swimming and their boats and their tennis and their hiking and their RVs, and that's what they love to do. And very few are still working. And I had to say, I still work and I'm a live streamer. You may call it a podcast, but I call it live streaming. And then I told them about my bird feeder on my lawn, the new one with the video cam. And I had to be sure to go back to what they could relate to. So I couldn't say early woman in tech. I couldn't say I'm a pioneer in thought leadership roundtable business enterprise radio with 55 series. I couldn't say that. I couldn't mention all the companies that have employed me for that. I couldn't mention that because, and I even said, I have a technology show where I talk, and I, Melanie, you won't believe this. I said to them, a lot of you may not like what I'm going to say, but I talk about the future of different industries and artificial intelligence, AI. You may not like to hear that. I actually prefaced it as an apology, and these are all educated people, but most of them don't want to know about this stuff. I had to be very, very careful what I said and then smile and thank them and sit down. And the next person got up and we're around this big pavilion with the, cover and then the side walls. And it was very interesting. So nobody came up to me and said, oh, where can we hear you? They didn't want to know because this is not what they want to know. So we can sing what we do, Melanie, and Deborah, we can smile, and Marisha, we can talk about it. But my theory has been always know your audience. Know your audience. Don't expect to change the audience in one spark with one sentence or whatever. Know your audience for your book, for your speaking engagements, for your radio shows. Know your audience, and that's how you can open them up a little bit, but you can't ram it. So anyway, and I was awake half the night wondering if whether I said was okay, seriously, afterwards. So it's just an interesting experience that you have to know a little bit about your audience. Don't think you're preaching to the choir all the time. So thank you, Melanie. I love what your quote was. And let's go to Marisha. And Marisha has sent a quote from, oh my goodness gracious. This was a Netflix animated fantasy adventure comedy drama film. That's a lot of genres squeezed together, and only comedy drama is hyphenated, Marisha. I want you to know. It was on Netflix in 2015, and the license for it ran out, and you can no longer see it in the United States. It's only in France, and I think one other country. They no longer can show it. But it's from, I'll say it in French, Le Petit Prince. In Italian, it's Il Piccolo Principe, The Little Prince. Directed by Mark Osborne, based on the, of course, 1943 novella by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. And the voices, oh my goodness, Jeff Bridges, Rachel McAdams, Paul Rudd, Marion Cotillard, Benicio del Toro, James Franco, Richie Gervais, Paul Giamatti, Riley Osborne, Albert Brooks, Mackenzie Foy, and I left one out here, Bud Cort, I don't know him. It's the first adaptation as a full-length animated feature of Le Petit Prince. I read the book in French when I was studying. So here is the quote. And by the way, Riley Osborne plays a little prince, an eternally young boy and resident of asteroid B6112. Sounds like a vitamin. A small asteroid roughly the same size as him. Paul Rudd is Mr. Prince, the adult version of him. Mackenzie Foy was the little girl. Feisty, precocious. I think we all were at one time or another. Maybe you still are, Melanie and Deborah. Yeah, you are. I'm trying to be. And Jeff Bridges was the aviator, and a retired eccentric who befriends the little prince in the Sahara Desert and acts as a mentor to the little girl. And the mother's not too happy about this. Here is the quote Marisha has picked. The most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or touched. They are felt. The heart. And that's also a quote from Helen Keller, by the way. That's another reference to that. So how did you find this beautiful quote, Marisha, in this movie? Go ahead.
Thank you. And so for me, the quote "Le Petit Prince" is the novel for me first and foremost. It's been sort of the guiding light of my existence since I discovered it as a young girl. My mother was a professor of French literature at the University of Toronto, and so it was a staple in the house. And I've been reading it pretty much every year. And it's the book I give to people when there are special occasions, and it's just such a poetic, beautiful timeless story, right? And so for me, that quote is really, it's also really at the heart of why I created my Globetrotter book and my Body Trotter book. Because my books aren't, it's not just about places on a map or parts of the body. It's really about helping children connect with the wonder and curiosity and connection with that live beyond what we see, right? It's really how to see with the heart, how to see the world, how to see your body, and to deepen your understanding of the world and of themselves. So whether it's understanding different cultures or understanding ourselves, true learning happens when it touches you on a deeper level. I'm truly convinced of that, and when it's felt. So that's the kind of journey that I've been wanting to take through creation in my books, to take the children through that journey, one that engages the mind, but also their heart.
Thank you very much. That's just absolutely lovely thought. And yes, it is from the heart. It has to be from the heart. That's where all of the goodness has to come from. We know that, right, Deborah? Right, Melanie? Yes, we know that. Thank you, Marisha. Let's go to Deborah's quote. A song title, 3 words. We love the short ones. Yes. Did anybody see Quinta Brunson do the hosting duties on SNL on Saturday night? I didn't know she's 4'8". And she brought out all kinds of people, including Sabrina Carpenter, who actually made an appearance, and talk about how short they are. And there was some silly jokes like, are short ribs, do we call them just ribs? A short story, is it just a story? Is it a novel? I thought it was cute. Anyway, I used to be 5'1.5". I think I'm about almost 5'1" now. I don't even count anymore. Barefoot, so it doesn't really matter. So here we go. So Deborah has picked the song "It's My Life," song by the rock band Bon Jovi, is the lead single of their seventh album, which was called Crush, dating back to 2000. And it was #1 in, you ready for this, Deborah? Austria, Flanders, Italy, the Netherlands, Portugal, Romania, Spain. I think Marisha's been to all of these, and Switzerland. It was the top 10 in many other countries, and it peaked in the US only at number 33. Well, that's how discern difficult it is on the Billboard Hot 100. It's the most well-known post-1980s hit single from the band and introduced them to a younger audience. Very, very interesting. So here's a couple of references. It has classic Bon Jovi features, including Richie Sambora's use of the talk box. It has a line in the second verse for Tommy and Gina, who never backed down, refers to Tommy and Gina, a working class couple in Living on a Prayer. That was the couple in that song. It has a line referencing Frank Sinatra, also from New Jersey. My heart is like an open highway, like Frankie said, I did it my way. Beautiful rhyme. Well, John Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora disagreed, and Sambora said to John Bon Jovi, no one cares about Sinatra except you. They put it in anyway. And then Paul Anka came along in 2005. He covered the song for his Rock Swings album, and he changed the line, Deborah. And he said, Frankie said he did it my way. That's how he changed it, because Paul Anka wrote the English lyrics for My Way. So the line Deborah has picked is, it's my life. Okay, Deborah, take 2 minutes and tell us how you picked this, as if we don't know. Go ahead.
Because so many people are fearful and scared to actually go after their dreams and do what is in their heart, what they're really passionate about, bursting out their creativity. And by goodness, I am not going to do that. I am going to say it out loud. I'm going to be proud, because it's now or never, because we don't live forever. It's my life. And I'm going to do it, as Frankie said, my way. And I want to help so many people find their voice, find their confidence, be resilient, believe in themselves, and enjoy their life, because so many people don't. They're in a comfort zone that really is not comfortable. They're on a hamster wheel and they don't escape. And that's what I do with the people I coach. That's why I wrote the book for myself, because it's easy to stay stuck, but it's up to us to live life our way and get to the bright light to enjoy our lives and seek out our passions and our purpose, like John Bon Jovi did.
Thank you. It's my life. Very good. By the way, I'll refer all of you to a new show based on the Alan Alda movie. It's called The Four Seasons. It just debuted on Netflix. It got mixed reviews. I agree with the mixed reviews, but they took each of the four seasons and divided them into two 28-minute segments instead of 1 hour per season. So you have two episodes. It's easier to break up if you have something else to do, but it ends on a very bittersweet note at the end, and then an obvious surprise that wasn't a surprise. If you're a woman, you'd figure it out at the very last 10 seconds. You already knew, but it was interesting about it's my life and living your life and not living it for other people. Deborah, you will probably enjoy it a lot if you don't know. I don't know if it's true to the original play. I just finished binging it last night. So thank you, ladies, for the quotes. I want to move on now. I'm looking at the clock here. We got plenty of time. Melanie, Peacock, you sent me a bunch of creativity statements that are very, 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 very short. And I'm going to combine three of them into one and give you 3 minutes to unpack them for me. Give us a little bit of, just break them out for us and give us more detail. So Melanie says, number one, I'm speaking as Melanie. I create when I'm awake and also when I'm asleep. Okay. Number two, I shut out noise so I can hear what my characters want to say. And want is the operative word to me. And number three, I write about what I know and I have fun then making up the rest. I think those all go together, Melanie. I hope that's okay with you. So why don't you take 2 to 3 minutes and just smush them together and tell us what your writing style is or what your creativity style is, please.
Smoosh. I like that. Smooshy mooshy. My writing, I'm going to say that. My writing and creative style is smooshy. There we go.
You can blame me. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, it's messy and it's smooshy. So I wrote about to you, I shared that I write while I'm awake. Duh, thanks for that. Glad we tuned in for that obvious statement. But I also shared that I write while I'm asleep. In that, I have very vivid dreams and things come to me. And so I've learned as a creative, when I get up, to take some notes and to jot down what I've dreamt of. And yes, we even can go into another deeper hole about how our dreams are signs or combinations and compilations of what we've experienced or what we're thinking of. But some of that creative idea, it does come to us when we're still and when we're quieter. So to remember that. I also, to take that point though, was I was able, through some unfortunate circumstances when I had an injury, to be awake and be still. And through that stillness and that calmness, my creativity flowed. So something else that I learned after many, many years on the planet is I was able, people say to me, how were you able to write a book in 6 months? Well, it was an unusual 6 months. I'd retired from my full-time permanent role and all the busyness. There was time for quiet. So it was sort of like I was in a daze or asleep while I was awake. And that stillness is what brought forth my creativity. Now I also laugh when I say, yeah, people talk to me and I'm talking to myself and I say, yeah, it interferes with the voices in my head. But people will say, do you understand that your characters were fictional? And I said, yes, but to me, they became real. And so as I created it, as I wrote, I would say, what would Tasha do, the protagonist? What would Tasha think about this? And I'd have those conversations. And so that's how, again, part of my creativity evolved.
Very, very interesting. And thank you for the real life references to that. Yes, a lot of things happen when life happens to us and things change. Our abilities change, or at least they emerge, perhaps, or they are unveiled. The wrappers come off, right? Okay. Thank you very much. Anybody have any, Marisha or Deborah, any comments for Melanie? Anything resonate there?
I mean, to me, I love the way she's talking about how she writes and creates in her sleep as well as as awake. It just inhabits you when you're on a project and when you're on it. It's really coming from a deep level of passion. So it does just, and when you say your characters are real to you, I totally get that.
Melanie, when I wrote my romantic comedy play, the first one I wrote it in 3 nights from 1 till 4 in the morning. I downloaded Playwriting 101 and I had this template in Word and it told me, start with the scene and then the characters and as many words, indent, this is the font, and just how to write a script, not the content, but how. And they spoke to me and they were telling me what they wanted to say, Melanie. So your statement hit me. Let your characters say what they want to say. Allow them. And I think I don't know if it's a blessing. I'm not going to get anything spiritual here, but sometimes I talk to a lot of writers who say, yes, the characters they didn't speak to me, they spoke through me. It's like a channel. You're just sitting there going, blah, 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 oh yeah, blah, 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 oh yeah. And you can almost hear them talking. And I did. So I liked what you said about that. Deborah, anything you want to say briefly before I move on?
Ooh, one sentence. I find creativity happens in the quiet. You can't force it. And sometimes you're doing something, it's best get away from it. Do something else. It's amazing how that sparks creativity, the juices start flowing. And so in our sleep, so many people come up with wonderful ideas in their sleep. I mean, I've heard it all. So I
Yes.
get it. I do everything. I get away. I write, I stop, and I live my life. And then it's amazing what actually comes. I've never had writer's block because
Yeah.
it's always there for you if you
If you
want to
allow
keep
it,
it
it is there.
quiet.
Hmm. And
So
some people leave a pad of paper next to their bed, and I've learned that if I want to, I wrote a whole short story recently, a little more of an adult story, nothing terrible, and I couldn't sleep one night, and I wrote the whole thing, and then I fell asleep for 3 hours. I got up, I said, "Crap, I don't remember half of what I wrote." If I'd have remembered to press the voice memo on my iPhone, which was right there, I would have had the whole story. Now I gotta it was very nuanced. And when I woke up in the light of day, I couldn't remember exactly what I want. I know the story, obviously. Okay, let's move on before I get myself in trouble. Marisha, I'm looking at your statement number 2 here. I like this. You say creativity is a reflection of familiar and new places. I'm going to read a little bit and then you'll expand this for us. Each book I create draws from personal connections. I followed my title on Tokyo with Bangkok, my home at the time. I've expanded the series with Paris and New York, Quebec, and Montreal, all cities I've lived in. Now, as I expand, I'm exploring unfamiliar cities. My latest title is Singapore, city I haven't lived in. Here's the kicker. This gives me a chance to discover new cultures and histories that inspire fresh creative insights. I delve into the nuances, uncovering elements of customs and hidden treasures that kids and adults may not immediately see. This is central to my vision, bringing these places to life with an authenticity that helps young readers feel connected and excited about each destination. So we're not talking about fantasy or fiction here. We're talking about reality, but tell us a little bit about how you uncover these nuances. What is it you see, Marisha? Talk.
So thank you. So the way I approach a book is really when because they're activity books and because they are for kids, I'm really trying to get into a deeper level of the culture, more than just this is the Eiffel Tower or this is, the a geisha, or I'm really, so for instance, with my Tokyo book, what is a geisha and what does it inspire? It's beauty, right? Geisha is the symbol of beauty. So what is beauty to you? What does beauty mean to you? Same thing with the sumo wrestler, the big, fat, strong sumo wrestlers. So then I'm taking children on a journey to question what strength means to them. What is strength? Is it just muscles, or is it more than that? The sumo wrestler is a discipline, athlete. He really works hard to perfect his craft, and that's strength. Strength can also be courage. It can be I'm trying to get into the culture at a deeper level. The same thing with Paris. I go into the food, I go into the language, I'm really trying to extract the flavor of these different places and make them in a way that's fun with puzzles and games. And so that's the creative journey that I've embarked on with the books.
That's lovely. Any comments, Deborah or Melanie? Any comments back to Marisha before I move on? We're all good?
it's so nice that you target it towards children because they they are spontaneous. The curiosity is there. They haven't been jaded yet too much anyhow. And it's an open book and you feed their minds and just it sparks so much creativity. It's just wonderful. Ah, Heart
Thank you,
Yeah,
to
Deborah.
you.
bravo, Marisha. And I just love how you are asking the children through activities and through facts,
Hmm.
but to have their own definitions and their own meaning making. So often we, especially with children, and this is what happens to us then as adults, we become put in these boxes and these ruts. But for children to say, what do you do? What do you like about school? What do you want to be when you grow up? Those are the wrong questions. What we should be asking, in my humble opinion, and you do this so brilliantly through your work, is who are you? Like, who are you and how are you experiencing the world? That's a very different question than what's your favorite subject.
Hmm. Well put. Very, very well put. Thank you. I think Marisha appreciates that. Let me move on to a statement from Deborah because I'm looking at the clock. We got about 9 minutes left, plenty of time. Deborah, you already covered statement number 2. I'm just going to read a line here because I want everybody I want to reinforce it. The time I cherish most to create and write is early morning between 4 and 7 a.m. My brain is clear. I'm refreshed after a good night's sleep and the quiet is inviting. So that's just reinforcing what you said and what Melanie said. So let's look quickly at statement number 4. You say, I take a creative approach to lifting people up. Being that ray of sunshine is fulfilling. Helping others see the good in themselves is rewarding. We're all different and learn in unique ways. Now, you say that's why at the Daily Decisions, we develop an individual creative approach for every session to help clients get unstuck. Leave a comfort zone. Is it really comfortable? Break out of a self imposed straitjacket. Discover what makes each person feel good so they can leave their negativity behind and thrive. Can you, in 2 minutes, kind of encapsulate that for us, please, Deborah? How do you do that? Is it per person? Is it per session? How many people are in a session? Just give us a little infrastructure, please, Deborah.
Well, I really enjoy doing one-on-ones. I'm not a therapist, but I am an unwavering cheerleader. I'm an accountability partner and I'm a mentor.
Deborah,
And
raise your microphone a little. We're
and
having trouble
many
hearing you.
and many times
Yes, go ahead.
and many times people need a cheerleader, a mentor, an accountability partner to be able to help them get unstuck. Because I find so many people are stuck, like I said, in a hamster wheel, in a rut, and the negativity takes over. Maybe they're not so confident in themselves. They haven't built up their resilience muscle. And what I try to do is spark that creativity and help them get unstuck and figure out what they really love to do. Sure, we pick things to do in life. Sometimes we just happen upon them. And that's why I like the way I lived my life. I've done different things from creative to more corporate and now to more creative helping people. And I think that builds your confidence and your resilience. And that's what I try to help people do is get unstuck, find out who they are, and actually not just survive, but thrive. And we have outstanding results, and people really appreciate being talked to as a human being, not being lectured, no judgment, just from the heart, a warm hug. And that's how I approach everything in my life now. It wasn't always that way, but caring about people and helping them thrive is a joy. It is.
That's lovely. That's lovely. I think that's why I do this show, because I like talking to interesting people and hearing how you all thrive and what makes you tick. That's really the promo for this show is what makes creatives tick. How can the rest of us or the other people, if they're not us, how can they learn from each of us what we do? Maybe they have that cup of coffee at 4 in the morning and they stay awake. Maybe they didn't sleep, but they had a dream and they got up and recorded the dream and there's a book. Maybe there's a thriller in there somewhere. I don't know. It's all different ways. Ladies, thank you for the statements. I appreciate that. I want to read you a couple of famous birthdays here. We have a couple minutes and got a couple of good ones here. Events in music history. I don't know how many of you will remember this, but in 1962 on this day, the Shirelles Soldier Boy went to number 1 in America. Soldier Boy. Da 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 da. So no, oh boy, I'm in trouble here. 1963, the day after the Beatles' UK debut album, "Please Please Me, Please Please Me," went to #1 there in the UK. Okay, in 1969, Creedence Clearwater Revival released "Bad Moon Rising." I think some of you might remember that. In 1979, one of my favorite songs from long ago, Peaches and Herb. Their song "Reunited" and it feels so good. Oh, Melanie knows. #1 in the US. In 1992, the Beach Boys, Mike Love and Bruce Johnston, appeared on Full House, the comedy, with the episode was called Captain Video Part 1, and John Stamos, who played Uncle Jesse, recorded their song Forever. A version sung by him appeared on the group's album Somewhere in Paradise a few months later. So Stamos recorded one of their songs and it went on the Beach Boys album. On this day in 1999, well, you've all been around, the 34th Academy of Country Music Awards, Garth Brooks was named Artist of the Decade. I didn't know that. And in 2009, okay, I have time, Tina Turner that wasn't her birthday, but she was 69 years old that year. She closed her 50th anniversary tour at the Sheffield Arena that turned out to be her last concert. She said, "I don't want people to come to a show and think that I used to be great."
Huh.
Tina Turner. Can you imagine that? She passed away in 2023 at 83 years old. Anna Mae Bullock, singer, songwriter, actress, queen of rock and roll. Yes, they talk about her body-bearing costumes, BARING, and her energetic stage presence. Today is Adele's birthday. She's all of 37 years old. Oh my goodness gracious. Remember, she came from I don't know what, basically nothing, pre-fame, raised by a single mother, and she wanted to sing when she was 4 years old. Oh my goodness gracious. In 2012, she moved into a $7 million home with 20 bedrooms and 25 acres with her boyfriend at the time, had a baby with him, then got engaged to somebody else. Okay. She and Beyonce tied for the most Grammy Awards in one night at the Grammys in 2012. Tammy Wynette, country singer, born today. Chris Brown, R&B singer, born today. Henry Cavill, who played Superman in a lot of the DC films, is born today. Man of Steel. Let's see. And we have 3 birthdays to celebrate. On YouTube, Jenny McBride is 36. You've never heard of her, I guarantee. She only has, you ready, Marisha? 4.9 million subscribers. She's a part-time ultrasound technician, okay? And she's featured on the YouTube channel Sean Duras as part of the Best Day. That's for you, Deborah. Best Day Ever series on the channel. You need to find them, Deborah. Also on YouTube and TikTok, Bart Baker is 39 today. He only has 9 million subscribers on YouTube and 4.9 fans on TikTok. He does parodies and he does short form content. And his most popular videos include California Boys and Hot Dogs Condom Style, and a parody of Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball. And then on TikTok, we have a young man named Gray's World, one word, GRAYSWRLD. I'm almost out of time here. He's 28 today. Happy birthday. He's got 5 million views. He does comedy skits and he acts as awkward characters. He often features his family, lucky them. He has a video where he tried to trick people into thinking he was the actor Pete Davidson from SNL. He looks like Pete Davidson, I'm telling you. And that they just met a celebrity. It was viewed 1 million times in 2 weeks. What am I doing wrong? Today is Hug a Shed Day, Take a Selfie Day, Museum Lovers Day, Nail Day, Cartoonist Day, Hoagie Day, Total Chipotle Day, and it's Cinco de Mayo. May is the month of American cheese. I don't know why it's American. Gifts from the garden, lettuce, asparagus, barbecue, chocolate custard. Don't put that with barbecue. Give you a tummy ache. It's egg month, hamburger month, salad, salsa, vinegar, and strawberry. And it's the month of teen CEOs. If you know anybody who's a teen, tell them they need to be a CEO. Creative beginnings, share a story, better sleep. Deborah, that's for us. Chip your pet, correct posture, sit up straight, date your mate. Okay, Melanie. Drum month. My drums are in the other room. Respect for chickens month. Well, what can I say? Victorious Women month, meditation month, inventors month, photography month, tennis, small business, and zombie awareness. And I want to tell you all that we're almost done. In 2014, I closed the show with the top 10 tips for women. I saved the list. And the #1 tip from 2014, that's 11 years ago, was aspire to be Barbie. The biatch has everything. That's from. Now, let's do our regular closing here. Join me, ladies. Life is short. Break the rules. Oh, yeah. Forgive quickly. No. Kiss slowly. Yes. Love truly. Oh, yes. Laugh uncontrollably. Join me, everybody. Laugh. 1, 2, 3. A little low, but I got the point. Never regret anything that made you smile. And here's the final words. Here are. Work like you don't need the money. Nobody cares except you unless you owe them money. Dance like no one's watching when I taught disco, everybody watched. Sing like nobody's listening. I tried not to sing. What can I tell you? Love like you've never been hurt. We all have. Let your heart grow back. Let it regenerate. Learn to love again. Money talks. Chocolate sings. La. And last but not least, I stole this line from somebody years ago. Thank you for turning me on. And now let's play the outro music, and let me make sure everything is up and we've got the music ready to go. And you're going to join me in the outro dance, Jordan. We're almost done. And here we go.
On Read My Lips Radio, producer and host, aka Radio Red, invites you to eavesdrop on her live, unscripted conversations with smart, savvy, creative people as she discovers what makes them tick, where they find their inspiration, when creativity first became their passion, and how their creative process can inspire the rest of us to think out of the box. Enjoy, aka Radio Red's always lively, cool conversations with creatives. Oh, how those lips can talk.
That was recorded years ago and I found it. AKA Radio Red signing off. Jordan, thank you for being our engineer today. Ladies, don't go away. We're going to talk. Deborah, Mallow, thank you. Melanie, Peacock, thank you. Marisha, I love your last name, but I'm not going to try and say it again. Let's wave goodbye to all of our social services. Bye-bye. And let me stop the